Hello and welcome to the Living Free with Ahna podcast, where I talk about all things health, spirituality, Christianity, kind of bridging those worlds, and all things personal development and self-evolution. And the whole goal is to bring to you the information and the healing modalities that I've used on my healing journey that have really helped me free myself of past experiences, of self-limitations, of pain, chronic pain, emotional pain, and all the things. And so today I am welcoming on Peng, my dearest, dearest love. And he is a phenomenal healer. And we both wanted to talk about the impact of toxins and their impact on sexual health, their impact on men's testosterone, and overall, like their impact on fertility
and mental health.
Yeah.
I
mean, really, their impact on everything.
Everything.
But specifically, where we see it's really, really impacting people right now is like men and their testosterone levels, libido for men and women, and it's just not a topic that's talked about enough, we believe. So I'll just quickly introduce myself for those listening that don't know me or what I do. My name is Ahna, and I am a detox specialist. So I got into the world of detoxification because of my own physical symptoms that really required me to figure out how to heal my body naturally and on my own. And I also help women heal their nervous system. I teach breath work. I am also a birth doula and really just do all things womb healing for women. So women that are struggling with PCOS, PMS, cycle irregularities, low libido, hormonal imbalances, and all of that. And so I'll let Peng share about his background.
Yep. My name is Peng. I'm an acupuncturist. So I'm a licensed acupuncturist and master of Qigong. I help people with discharging trapped emotions or traumas from the nervous system and helping calm the nervous system down. The more years I spend doing acupuncture and teaching Qigong, the more I recognize that really the source, it sounds kind of cliche, but the source of many of our ailments are autoimmune issues, migraines, even things like Bell's palsy, any kind of viral, also menstrual cycle, any irregularities. All of these things all contribute back towards emotional dysregulation that's occurring within the body. What I refer to as an emotional injury. People refer to it as trauma. I like to steer away from that word and call it emotional injury, because emotional injury is something that you can actually heal from and something that you can actually relieve yourself from. The terminology of trauma today, I call it the trauma industry is taking a little bit of a turn to where I'm seeing that it's becoming a little bit more unhealthy, where people are more concerned about labeling this experience as trauma, labeling this experience as trauma, labeling this experience as trauma, and shifting people into a state of labeling themselves, and then they kind of get stuck with these labels, and then it's been difficult for them to move out of those labels. And so when it's difficult for them to mentally move out and shift out of those labels, we see a physical repercussions of them holding onto those labels within their mind, because they manifest physically also on the body. So when we shift to emotional injury, then it is like an injury. You banged your knee, and now it's going to take some time to recover. We do some things to get to move out and kind of go from there. So I refer to it as emotional injury. So we remove these things from the body. The body begins to reset, and we see the nervous system start to help people bounce back. So
beautiful. Yeah. No, that's so important. I'm glad you mentioned that, because it is emotional injury. Like there are, like for instance, PTSD. We're now starting to call it post-traumatic stress injury, because, and you'll probably see that on my Instagram as I post a lot with Dr. Eugene Lipov, He's really trying to help us move away from this terminology because it really is an injury to the brain and it can be healed. You don't have to live with PTSD forever. And I know that because I lived it. And
it's not a label or diagnosis that you can't move yourself out of.
yeah.
And so that makes that switch allows us an opportunity to give us hope and allows us to shift out of labels and into actually healing.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. So kind of along those lines, today we're also going to talk about how the unprocessed emotions, right, that can come from things like emotional injury, how they are tied to toxins as well, and how it's important to do work in both worlds of emotional healing and detox to really see full healing. Before we go into all things like sexual health and emotional healing and testosterone and hormones, I wanted to just give like a super brief like overview of the type of world that we live in. You can help me out with that.
Yeah, go for it.
And why we even need to care. Like, why do we need to care about toxins and detox? And, before we talk about how these toxins really are impacting our fertility and our testosterone and our sex drive, like really understanding like where they are is really important. And the truth is they are everywhere from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. You are being bombarded with toxins because it is just the world that we live in today. From your coffee maker to the toothpaste you use, the toothbrush you use that is made of plastics that's exposing you to microplastics, to you're cooking your eggs in a nonstick pan and you're being exposed to PFAS and Teflon and trying to think, your tap water that has parasites. It has pharmaceuticals in it. There's even birth control in tap water that you don't even know you're drinking. And we're wondering why we're having a hard time getting pregnant. The list goes on. I mean, the antibiotics and the injections that go into the animals, that the meat that you're eating, if you don't know how to buy meat. And I could go on and on and on. And we had to really dive into this world because we had physical symptoms in our bodies that nothing else, we couldn't get rid of them with anything else other than detox. And to this day, we are still detoxing. But we are leaps and bounds. I mean, we are different people than we used to be because detox has changed our lives that much. And I'll kind of go into my story a little bit later on how toxins really impacted my cycles, how it impacted my womb space, how it impacted PMS. I had PCOS. I had virtually no sex drive my entire life, which I have turned all of that around. And so I'll share my story with that later. But I'll hand it to Peng in just a second to kind of share about how he's noticed toxins impact his testosterone and his libido and the other things associated with that. But the other thing quick I just want to mention is we live in a world that is full of toxins, but specifically I like to call out pesticides because pesticides there's something called glyphosate. If you haven't heard of it, it's a pesticide that is in Roundup and it's sprayed on almost all of the crops here in the United States. All the crops that are non-organic, they're getting doused in chemicals. And these chemicals disrupt your gut microbiome, which disrupts your endocrine system. And what is the other one? Atrazine?
Atrazine.
Yeah. What is it? Atrazine? It impacts.
Atrazine, when it's been found in the rivers and streams, male frogs were sex changed to female frogs. Yeah.
And that is in our environment. That is in some of our food, right? Because it's in our soil, it's in our rainwater, it's everywhere. And we have to think, what is this doing to our bodies? Especially if we're not aware and we're not, we don't know what we're ingesting, right? And so we'll kind of talk about it at the end, but we've created a course, which is basically like a blueprint to clean living to help people understand, okay, how do I avoid these toxins? How do I shop? How can I easily get them out of my body and all the things? So I'll just hand it to you first, Peng. Maybe just share like your experience with mercury poisoning, just a brief experience about your mercury poisoning and how you've noticed that has impacted your testosterone levels. Because I think there are a lot of men struggling right now with low testosterone and they might not even know it.
Mm-hmm. So when it comes to testosterone levels, in Chinese medicine, we don't look at blood work or lab work to test to see what your testosterone levels are like. There are simple indicators that we do look for. We're looking at, okay, do you have nighttime erection? Do you have a morning erection? How are you? We're looking at urinary incontinence. When you're urinating, are you able to fully empty? Are you able to stop the flow of urine? Are you able to contract and stop the flow of urine? Are you dribbling? All of these things that have to do with your urination functions and your erections. These are the canaries in the coal mine, according to Chinese medicine. So this lets you know that your testosterone levels start to drop and plummet. That at the same time, along with your mood starts to deplete, going downhill, depression starts to kind of set in. There's fatigue, lack of energy, lack of motivation. This is when you know that your testosterone levels start to deplete and start to drop down. It depends on your constitution. It depends on your constitution. It depends on your level of fitness. Are you working out? Are you lifting weights? Are you eating right? Are you sleeping well? All of these other things to kind of help determine what your testosterone levels are like. But essentially, it breaks down to this: nighttime erection, morning erection. If your nighttime erection is strong, your morning erection is strong, and then your libido is pretty good, and then you have no erectile dysfunctions, then your testosterone levels, according to traditional Chinese medicine, are average or above average, which is the healthier sign. Anything?
No, that's helpful. Yeah, just how have you noticed your testosterone levels go up and down like throughout your life, and how has the mercury poisoning? Because I think it'd be helpful if people knew, like, you found out you had mercury poisoning, and it was simply from fillings that you got as a kid, and it has impacted you to this day.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if they're still doing it today, but the dental industry still might be plugging in what they call silver fillings, and it's 51% mercury, and the other one another form of malleable metal that they plug into the cavities. What it does is it leaks mercury into the tooth, into the bloodstream, and also causes what's called methylmercury, which is vaporizes. Anytime you eat something hot, brush your teeth, you're releasing these mercury vapors throughout your system. Your body's collecting it. And then because your body begins to collect it, then you begin to gain weight because the fat or adipose tissue is used to kind of cover up, to hold the toxins in order to trap those toxins. And so when you start losing weight, you release burning fat and losing weight, you start releasing these toxins from the body and into the bloodstream. Mm-hmm. So it affects everything. It contributes to fatigue. It contributes to brain fog. It contributes to your neurological function. Causes, for me, at the worst, I felt like I was forgetting patients' names. Patients I've been treating for years. Some patients for months. I've been forgetting names. I was dropping keys. Again, I'm a martial artist, so when I drop something, I usually catch it. But I do remember when I dropped the keys from this hand, it fell past this hand, and I watched it, and I went past this hand and went down to the floor, and I just watched everything in slow motion, and I was unable to respond to catching it. First response, if I drop the keys, usually this hand will catch it. If it makes it past this hand will catch it. And for some reason, if it makes past this hand, then my foot will at least catch the key, because I'm like that. Because I know Kung Fu. So I but noticing these things, and also as I was driving, I was forgetting where I was going. Um, so mercury affects the heavy metals affect the body in such a disastrous way, and everything slows down. And I had a very hard time finding words, connecting the dots, and connecting concepts that were in my head, and it made it very hard for me to articulate what it was that I wanted to say. I'd have it in my head, but my mouth wouldn't be able to catch up to match with what was in my head at all.
And
So
how has it impacted your testosterone? What have you noticed throughout your life? And have you used other things in the past where that have you've used to try to boost testosterone? And what have you noticed with that? Because I
so,
think that that's something that men do today, right?
so testosterone levels depend on a very on a variation of things. Um, but for me, because I was physically active and whatnot, around age 38 was when I started to notice my testosterone level drop. And when I say my notice that my testosterone level drop, it's not because of blood work and lab work, which I eventually did do just to kind of see, just to prove to kind of find out exactly where I was at. Um, but again, the nighttime erection was no longer there. I was getting up to pee 2, 3 times a night, and then no, the morning erection wasn't there. And I also had my mood was low, and I had no interest in sex. So no libido. Everything was kind of spiraling downhill, and also at the same time that was, and again, it's usually around a time where in your life where things are a little bit more, you're in a transition spot, right? So at 38, that's when I started to notice things drop. So from there, I started to go to the gym, increase the amount of time I went to the gym, started lifting weights more, um, and and then within about 3 months or so, I started to notice these things, they begin to improve. And then from that time, because I wasn't sure, I also it was bad when Peng has to go and get blood work and lab work. It's because it's pretty bad. And so I eventually go in and get blood work, and my testosterone levels were pretty low. I forget how low it was, that I don't remember the numbers, but they were pretty low. And so then at that time, I was like, okay, I could probably do this with Chinese medicine, but just because I'm curious, um, I would like to see what conventional medicine has to offer for these things. So at that time, it took a little, it's like a little dissolve under your tongue. I think it's called gonadotropin. It's to help stimulate
Yeah.
yeah, to kind of help stimulate the pituitary gland to kind of help naturally increase your hormone production and balances things out. I also at that time also took a prescription for the testosterone cream. Comes out in this little flicker, and you can kind of rub it on your skin, and it gets absorbed into the body to help produce free testosterone. When I did that, I began to within 3 days. Now the recommendation was like, don't do it every day. I was like, do it you know, every other day or something like it. Kind of space it out to balance out to mimic your natural hormone or testosterone cycle. So I would do it like on a Monday, uh, a bigger dose on a Monday, smaller dose on a Tuesday and a Friday or a Wednesday, and I would bump these creams around a little bit. This was good, but at the same time, it also like
It's
it.
not what we recommend.
I don't
We don't
recommend.
recommend
I
this. This
don't
is
recommend it.
we don't recommend it because you notice
I
things,
noticed things.
not good things.
Yeah, I noticed things. I noticed that I had no filter. So whatever, and I already kind of have no filter. So like I noticed I had really had no filter. So like whatever somebody said to me and whatever I thought, it just came out. There was like no filter. That's exactly how like I wasn't in a place to where I was able to kind of meet people where at. I just kind of gave people like the straight talk, and and then I was like, this is bad. And when I got myself off of it for a period of time, and usually when I got off of it, I gave myself about 2 weeks just to kind of see, just to experiment on my own body. Once I was off of it for about 2.5 weeks, things started kind of, I was able to observe myself more in real time, and it affects the thoughts in such a subtle and slight way. Um, And then when I put the cream back on again, I immediately noticed within the next 2, 3 days, the no filter kind of came back up, and it was not good for relationships. It was not good for, um, it's not good for interactions. And so I noticed these things, and then I was like, okay, this is not good. I gotta come off of it. So once I got off of it completely, I just went cold turkey. Got off of it completely and just stuck to Chinese herbs, um, some acupuncture, go back to lifting weights, and then I was able to build my testosterone levels back up, and also getting the sleep and trying to address the stress levels because during that time my stress levels were pretty high.
Yeah. Yeah, because so it's almost as if when you're taking fake testosterone, it's amplifying
Yep.
everything in the body. It can feel good for some parts, right? Because you're increasing your testosterone, it really is doing that. But it's also, what would you say?
It gave me
Amplifying.
it gave me a little bit more confidence, but at the same time, it felt, here's how I'll explain. It amplifies both the good and the bad qualities within you.
Yeah.
And I also, because I was able to feel the subtleties of it, I was also able to feel TMI, but I'm just gonna give this because I was also able to feel like my testosterone, my testicles start to shrink a little bit. And I was like, oh, we can't be having that. So I was like, okay, that's got to go.
Yeah.
So I did things to kind of acupuncture, lifting weights, did everything to kind of bounce my system back up, and I started to notice these things begin to kind of go away, and I was able to just through the things that I did naturally increase my testosterone levels, and I was able to get my blood work again just to follow up without the testosterone. So I don't know how many months I was out without it because I didn't want the blood work the lab work to result to see what I was at because of the testosterone influence. I wanted to be off enough long enough. I can't remember how many months it was, but then I went back to get my testosterone levels tested and they were normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing that I just want to call out too is it's like anytime, like it doesn't surprise me to hear that you felt like your testicles shrinking because it's like also anytime you are putting something synthetic in the body, that is, you're like also almost teaching your body not to produce it naturally.
Correct.
Which is a very scary thing. You don't, and that's why birth control is I don't recommend it for women. I'm just going to say that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice, but I will tell you I was on birth control for over a decade. And again, that's altering things synthetically. It is changing your body on a cellular level and impacting your hormones in ways that you don't quite see until you're off of it. And it's really not good.
It affects your decision making. It affects the things that you think, the way that you think, how you process information,
the partners you pick,
yeah, who you're attracted to, all of these things. So, yeah, I did notice there's like a lot more thoughts that I wouldn't normally have. Kind of like your teenage years. There's some of those thoughts start to kind of come forward a little bit. And I was like, oh, I don't want to go through puberty again. Let's not go there because that's not fun.
Yeah.
That's also not a fun time. But these are the things. But these are the things that you can naturally do to kind of help bring your testosterone levels back up.
Can you list those things again? Like what are like for men listening? What are things that they can do to naturally? One is detox, and we're going to talk about that at the end. But other than detox,
other than detox, these are the things you're going to find that are pretty simple on any Google search. But first is going to be exercise regularly. So you need to exercise regularly and lift heavy, squats, deadlifts, any kind of chest press, push, pull, anything focuses on the larger muscles, but you really want kind of the legs to be strong. Anything that is more cardio or more long, like endurance, these things kind of don't increase your testosterone levels. So heavy lifting is going to be the biggest thing. HIIT exercises, high intensity impact training will also, so kickboxing, jujitsu, anything that you go hard, rest, you go hard, rest. these exercises also increase testosterone levels. Get quality sleep. You need to sleep for about 7 to 9 hours. And so if you're up on your phone and you're playing and you're watching things and you're exposing yourself to red and blue light, inside your circadian rhythm starts to go off. That time from 7 to 9 hours that you're sleeping, quality sleep. Ideally, you want to sleep at night when it is nighttime, to help reset your nervous system, to help reset your circadian system so that your hormonal system can actually rest. Without sleep, you can't build testosterone. So if you are sleep deprived, you are testosterone deprived, and that leads to a whole host of things, depression, and then all these other things that will stack up and become more like autoimmune issues later on. You can't keep burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
And you need to eat a balanced diet. Have your proteins, your meat, fatty fish, and then healthy fats from your nuts, things like this, salmon, sardines, things like this, oysters, yep. And then you need to maintain a healthy weight. You got to lose weight. Any belly fat, any visceral fat, if you're overweight, testosterone, all of this fat and adipose tissue on the male body increases your estrogen levels, which work against your testosterone levels.
Yes.
So then your testosterone levels will plummet. So the more weight, look, it is what it is. The more fat you have as a guy, then the less testosterone you're going to have. You have to burn that fat off. So maintain a healthy weight. Then you got to manage your stress levels. Walk, get acupuncture, do meditation, do things that will help decompress. Don't do this on your phone and scroll. That's not a way to decompress. Decompress, walk, swim, do movement, move the physical body, and do things that breathing exercises that will help calm yourself so you can decompress. Stress levels, increased stress levels, meaning that your cortisol levels are high, and then you're burning more fuel, you're unable to replenish your testosterone levels. Get enough vitamin D and sunlight. We want to look at anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 IUs, so you can supplement it or get outside and expose yourself to sunlight. Sunlight is good. We're seeing
no sunscreen.
Yeah, no sunscreen. Sunlight is good. So expose yourself to sun anywhere from 10 to 15, depending on 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the day, and try to expose as much skin as possible because the skin. Vitamin D is a hormone and not necessarily a vitamin. It's a hormone. And when you expose yourself, your skin to just sunlight, in and of itself, you're producing vitamin D. The body produces vitamin D from simply being in the sun. So if you're not in the sun, everything goes downhill. Testosterone levels, everything begins to go downhill. Zinc and magnesium. So try to get your zinc from red meat, oysters. These are the two that I get my zinc from. You can supplement. And then there's also magnesium. I don't. As far as magnesium, I supplement it versus consuming it through foods. You can kind of get it from cruciferous vegetables and whatnot. And then avoid alcohol and drugs. Avoid alcohol.
And porn.
And we're going to get to that. That's going to be my final topic.
Okay.
But avoid alcohol and drugs. So alcohol is a depressant. It's a depressant. It makes you depressed. Lowers the level of energy. It lowers your mood. So when the kick that you're getting from the alcohol is increased from a Chinese medicine standpoint, the kick that you get from the alcohol is it increases the blood circulation, gets things moving, but then afterwards there's this downhill effect to where it depresses the mood. So avoid alcohol, and then weed and marijuana, cut it out. That's a boner killer for sure. I mean, that's my medical terminology. It's a boner killer for sure. So weed is it's not good. Right? So if you want to increase your sex drive, marijuana, some people are like, well, I do find it. There's more and more studies showing that marijuana is not good.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we want to avoid all the estrogenic chemicals, all the toxins that you're exposing yourselves to. This is the plastics from the BPAs. This is the food. You must be organic because everything is being sprayed into pesticides, herbicides. Again, we talked about atrazine. Atrazine is it's the sex changing. It causes frogs to have sex changes.
We got to wonder what that's doing to our bodies.
If you're not eating organic and you're consuming these foods that have atrazine in it, you're gonna. I don't know what it's doing for humans, but I do know that we are already seeing the implications of these things accumulating within the body. So avoid these things, avoid the parabens, avoid the scented candles, the colognes that guys usually wear. All of these things affect, with the strong fragrances, all of these things affect your testosterone levels. They increase, um, they increase
Everything.
they disrupt your endocrine system,
Yeah.
your hormonal system. Okay, and then we go into, and then have a healthy sex life. And so when I say a healthy sex life, one thing I want to talk about is avoid porn. If you can, start making efforts. It's hard to kind of move yourself out of it, but start avoiding porn. The more younger people, there are more and more studies coming out today where there are 20-year-old boys or young men who are having erectile dysfunction when they're trying to be intimate with their partners. 20-year-old men should not be having erectile dysfunction and not having the ability to perform sexually in their 20s. This is a problem. This is a problem indeed. So porn has to be cut out because your brain is being wired to think of other things and look for more extreme things as far as sexual encounters or intimacy is concerned. And so you're programming yourself for these very extreme,
not real life,
not real life categories towards sexual function or sexuality or intimacy with your partner. And so young men in their 20s are having erectile dysfunction due to watching porn. So if you can cut yourself off cold turkey or slowly wean yourself off, and I get it.
You were there.
I was there. Self-pleasuring is a form of release, but the problem is, or stress release, but the problem is that there's a downhill effect that comes from that. You have to pull yourself out and willpower yourself and find ways to replace that with something else, more positive. And when you're feeling low, do things to shock your nervous system. Take a cold shower. Put your face in ice water. Go out, move the body, get sunlight. All these things, they will slowly pull yourself out of that. And because it's kind of like for men, I don't think women understand, but like for men, like this is like when you hit 13, your testosterone levels increase. All of a sudden, you have this thing that's there, and is like the most powerful pleasure tool in the universe. And you wake up with it every single morning. It's a problem. And so, and at the same time, because men have the drive, and so it can become a problem. So have a healthy sex life. And this way you can be more present for your partner, you can enjoy your partner, and you can definitely are able to pleasure her. Because every man wants to be able to please their woman. It's pretty simple. And at the same time, so the reason we're going with the removing or eliminating porn from your life, we also have to decrease or eliminate your ability to basically your ejaculation. There are Taoist sexual secrets that I can't reveal in these videos. You'd have to spend a lot of money for me to reveal those secrets. However, the idea from the Taoist, when I was learning Qigong, all the different spiritual practices in the Buddhist and the Taoist practices, and also in the Hindu practices, they talk about retaining semen or semen retention. So the idea is that if you keep spilling your seed, then you're unable to reach higher states of consciousness. So these were some of the things that I had to learn how to master in my late teens, early 20s, and we'll go into, and some of that flows over into traditional Chinese medicine as well. So I want to talk a little bit about this, and we can kind of move on. The idea is that, so when men come in with me to come see me for acupuncture, and they have fatigue, poor libido, they have digestive issues, they have autoimmune issues, they have depression, low back issues. They have weak knees issues. The number thing that all the very real conversation I always have to have with them is that, hey, how often are you watching porn or ejaculate, or how often are you pleasuring yourself? Because this will contribute to whether you're going to speed it. This is going to contribute to whether how fast you're going to heal on my table. Otherwise, if you can't wean off of this stuff, I can't help you. We can't supplement and acupuncture you to building resilience. We just can't. And your depression is just going to continue to plummet. We can't build you if you keep spilling the seed, because you're wasting all of this energy that we're trying to build up. So in the Taoist sexual context, or the text, we talk about qi. So qi converts, the energy that you can use converts to qi. Qi converts to blood. Blood converts to what we call jing. In the Chinese medicine, jing is your seminal, for men, jing is your seminal fluid. So one drop of what I was told by what I heard is that one drop of semen equates to 9 drops of blood. So if you're constantly losing the seed and spilling the seed, essentially you're bleeding to death. And so the conservation of your seminal fluid through self-restraint, through having a healthier sex life, along with all these other things, will help you build your constitution back up. Otherwise, your mood, your inability to be fully present, depression, testosterone levels, all these things that continue to plummet down the hill. And then I can already hear somebody saying, well, why don't I just take testosterone or TRT or hormone replacement therapy? Yeah, sure. That might be able to help you temporarily, but in the long haul, I'm not going to do it. We want to build your vitality naturally because it's sustainable and it doesn't require something from outside to influence inside. But we want to stimulate internally so it stays strong and it stays long within the system, because as you build it slowly, then you keep it. So this is the thing with a natural approach or a traditional Chinese medicine approach. Everything that you build, you keep. Everything that you get from the outside, the moment it's gone, it goes. And then we see all the other underlying conditions that are pre-existing or go away the moment that external force goes away.
And you're going to age a lot faster.
A lot faster.
I just want people to look at your face. You're 44 and 44. People sometimes they're checking your ID. I know. It's true. It's so true. You're basically by detoxing your body, by watching out for toxins, for following everything he just said, and retaining seminal fluid, you are reversing your biological clock. Yep. And that is I don't even like to talk about fertility always as just thinking about making babies. No, your fertility is a vital sign. It's about your internal biological clock, and who doesn't want to live healthier, live longer, be able to play with their grandkids, but all of the things. It's reverse aging you.
We're just from a Chinese medicine standpoint, your jinger or your kidney energy is your essence. The more you stress yourself out, the more you're going to deplete this. You're going to shorten your lifespan. So we want to build naturally in order for there to be vitality in the long haul, because you can't
fake that.
You can't
supplement that.
You can't supplement it. You can't supplement it.
No.
It has to be done through, again, physical activity, quality sleep, balanced diet, losing weight, burning fat, managing your stress levels, getting lots of sun, increasing your zinc, right? Avoiding alcohol and drugs, avoiding the toxins that are going to increase your estrogen levels in the body, and then having a healthy sex life. These things will help lead towards longevity.
Yeah.
When these things start to go away, it's because then you're shortening your lifespan. Literally, in Chinese medicine, when libido goes for men, this is why all Chinese medicine throughout time, all the great emperors everybody was focusing on longevity because the emperors and the kings, or the emperors and the conquerors of the time, had lots of concubines that they had the pleasure and impregnate, and they also wanted to have long life so they can stay head of state or the emperor for a long period of time. So there were different herbs that they would take. There were different things, ginseng, other things. They would take things and put it in their belly button, herbs to kind of help with increasing their sex drive, increasing the libido, to make sure that erections are strong and for longevity. So all of these things is to help with your longevity overall. So sexual health is your overall vitality for health.
Life force.
It's your life force. So for men, if you're wasting away your seed and you're just plundering away at your seminal fluid, you are plundering away at your vital life force and you're shortening your lifespan. That's what you're doing. So do your best to kind of make the shifts so you can improve your quality, your sperm quality, and everything else. Again, now we're switching topics. Now that we've caught all of this, I'm going to switch to another topic which is also added onto that. If you want, as a man, and if your partner, you and your wife, if you as a man want to have strong kids.
I was just going to ask you to talk about.
Yeah. If you want to have strong and healthy kids, strong brain, strong bones, strong mind, strong body. If you want to have strong kids, it depends on the level of your testosterone levels. It depends on the quality of your physical body. The weaker your body is, the weaker your kids are going to be, because you are contributing the information from your body. Because from a Western standpoint, men just think like, oh, there it is. There's my contribution Skeet, skeet. Here's my contribution to the fertility process. No, not like that at all. All of the information that you have within you, your entire constitution, how strong you are, how weak you are, all of that stuff is contained in each sperm cell. It's like the sperm cell itself is the data or the disk drive, and all the information that's encoded in you is all the information or the software that goes into the egg, and then boom. So where you're at in time, what your constitution looks like, what you're eating, what you think, your mood, all of these things, all of your health conditions, that where you're at currently transfers into the sperm and enters into the egg. And so that's what you're transplanting into your baby. You're transplanting who you are at that moment in time into your baby. So the healthier you are, the stronger you are, the stronger the code or the software that you're implanting into your child. So you want to be the best version of yourself that you can be in order for you to transmit and transfer the best version software that you have into your child. This is the part that's missing in a lot of medicine. People just think that it's just, again, I'm joking, but it's like guys just think like, oh, it's just skeet, here's my donation to the contribution. No, who you are is contributing to the contribution of your child. So you must take action if you want a healthy child. And ladies, have your guys watch this, and have you guys watch this video and have them. I can explain as I'm explaining all this, because their contribution is a lot more than they think it is. Yeah. It's not just the cell. Yeah. So, anyways, I kind of went off on some tangents.
No, that's all good. I love it. That's what I was going to just bring up the piece about, like, children, right? Do we want healthy children?
Yeah.
Like, everything he's talking about is 50% of the equation when you're thinking about pregnancy, when you're thinking about fertility. And one of the topics we're so passionate about is preconception health. Like, get yourself in a good place before you get pregnant.
Both of you.
Yes, both of you. And do it together. Do it together. When one, when only one of us is doing the work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. And for many reasons, which we'll probably have to do on another podcast episode, but like, I just think about, fertility in general, and getting you are like supporting the health of the egg months before you try to conceive. So like,
let's say it like this: supporting the health of your child.
Yes. Yes. You are basically determining the health of your child at least 90 plus days before you try to conceive. And that's another reason we created what it's the artofcleanlivingcourse.com, but it's a course that we created to teach you how to live a clean life, how to avoid these toxins, right? How do you start moving them out of your body before you try to conceive so you can conceive a healthy child?
Yeah.
A child that doesn't have learning disabilities, that has a lower risk of autism, right? That, again, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just saying, like, it's not a mystery to me why we're seeing so much disease in young children. I mean, we're seeing kids with cancer. We're seeing babies with cancer. You guys, that's not normal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in Chinese medicine, we have something called pre-heaven qi and post-heaven qi. So pre-heaven qi is before the constitution of the mother, the constitution of the father. So what they're both dealing with individually and as a couple at that time, the moment they conceive, all that energy is called pre-heaven qi. So that means before baby was actually formed. So that's the moment the egg enters the sperm, that's called pre-heaven qi. And so if you're both coming in with a weaker constitution, you're giving your baby not a very good chance. You're giving them the healthier you are, you're giving them a trust fund as far as pre-heaven energy is concerned. But if you're going in with some deficiencies and you're trying to conceive a child while you're both deficient, or one of you is super deficient, then chances are the egg won't plant, or also the child will receive deficiencies within their constitution that will have to be made up later on in the post-heaven qi through food, diet, and other things.
Yeah.
So we're looking again when we look at the world today, we have more people with allergies to shellfish and peanuts and this and that and the other thing, allergies galore, and we're seeing rising rates of autism. We're starting to read all of these things that we're seeing that were not normal in my time. Now they're kind of normal during this time. So we have to weed out the toxins because these things are causing the pre-heaven qi to be weak, causing the constitution, causing the sperm quality to be weak, causing the egg quality to be weak. We want to be able to weed out the toxins and do all these things. So guys, you have a long list of things that you have to do as well to contribute your genetic material to your child. We want to bring the best version of you forward.
Yes. And the other thing I just want to add on to that too, because I think there's many couples that we're just seeing so many couples directly routed to IVF, right? They can't get pregnant and it's like, oh, no problem, we'll just do IVF. Well, I have a lot of thoughts about IVF in general, and there's a lot of studies about that and the health of children after having, after that being the route. And I'm not saying that that's a bad route always. However, when a couple is not conceiving easily and it's not happening, and also when they're not conceiving even after they've been routed to IVF, it's a sign that it's an underlying indicator there is something under the surface.
Yeah.
The womb is not prepared to receive life. And that should be like a ding, ding, ding for us. Like, oh, we need to focus on ourselves first. We really got to get our health in check first. Something is imbalanced and the body is not prepared to receive new life. And that's where like a lot of my womb healing work comes in, and I can kind of chat about that really briefly. But yeah, I'll talk about that. Peng's gonna run to the bathroom really quick. And I'll just quickly talk about, because I know the podcast is getting long now, but this is just such good information we want to get out to everyone. From a sexual health perspective with women, and I'll have to do a whole other episode on this, but when we think about fertility and womb health, I mean, this is where we create, and this is where we have to hold new life. And if we are not getting pregnant easily, there is just an imbalance there. Is the body saying, hey, not yet, not yet. I need to be cared for first. And we have to create a fertile environment in the womb. And what many don't talk about is that, and I didn't even know this, I didn't know this before, I was deeper into my healing journey, but your womb is the home of your inner child. So your womb is the home of all of your unprocessed emotions. And so if we have unprocessed things from childhood, if we have unprocessed emotions from our entire lives, it sits in the womb. So we are being congested with unprocessed emotions, right? Throughout our entire life, it's sitting in the womb. Then you add on the pesticides, the toxins, the microplastics, the PFAS, the Teflon, the forever chemicals. Now you're adding all of that into the womb, okay? So you've got unprocessed emotions, then you've got toxins, and you're congested, right? You're congested, and we wonder, why we can't get pregnant. And it's because we are literally full. We are full. And so this is part of the work that I help women with, is helping cleanse the womb. And we do that through detox, right? We do that through helping heavy metals leave the body, parasites leave the body. I'll go ahead and say right now that I believe PCOS is very closely linked to just many parasites in the body. And I know that because I lived it. And cysts, in my opinion, are bundles of parasites, of toxins that then the body is trying to protect you from. So it forms a cyst, it forms a sac around them. And it's a sign, PCOS, endometriosis, all of this, it's a sign of lymphatic stagnation. It's a sign of suppressed emotions. And the doorway to true healing with that is through physical detoxification. And as you physically detox, it's so much deeper. It's so much deeper than just physical, right? We have old emotions come up. We have old memories come up, and they all are finding their way out of the body. The toxins are attached to the unprocessed emotions. And I can come on and do a whole episode about that and about parasites, and just how attached they are and why it is so important to do that work together. But overall, just to kind of round out the conversation, I think, we've done so much work on ourselves, because we've kind of been, life kind of slaps you upside the head sometimes to get you to wake up. And that's what happened with both of us, with a lot of physical symptoms. I had to learn how to heal my womb. And he had to learn how to detox mercury out of his body and heal from emotional injury, both of us. And the other thing I just want to quickly mention, because this is something I struggled with a lot of my life, is virtually no libido, like no sex drive at all. I thought I was broken. I literally thought I was broken. I was like, oh, that's for other women, but it just must not be for me. I could never feel pleasure. And I can happily say I have reversed all of that around. And that is, it's really exciting, because when you're disconnected from your sexuality as a woman, you actually don't, I never really realized just how disconnected I was, and how that impacted my everyday life, how it made me feel, how it affected my confidence in the world, how it affected how I felt about myself. And how it affects your cycle health, your digestion. I mean, like he said earlier, your sexual health is your life force, not in just men, in women too. And a lot of us women, it has been so suppressed. And I just want to share, that I hope it gives hope to women that you can go from not having orgasms to having orgasms. You can go from not ever having a libido to having a high libido. You can reverse all these things around. You're not broken. It's just a matter of there's inner child work that needs to be done. There's detox that needs to be done. And
there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
First is from a Chinese medicine standpoint, but also from my experience in treating patients. Well, first we got to change the diet. We got to do some acupuncture to help you calm your nervous system down. We have to regulate your menstrual cycle. We want your cycle to look different. So we want it to be fresh and fresh red, bright red blood, and we want to have a, it depends on every woman, but 2 3 days heavy, 2 3 days light, and we also want no pain, no clots, no spotting, and then also during ovulation time, we want to be able to check to see if there's mucus,
Like egg white.
egg white mucus. These are the things that we look for a healthy cycle, and we also want them to be everywhere from 28 to 31 days. So if your cycle is showing up every 2 weeks, which I have patients who do that, or every 45 days or every 60 days, then it's not regulated. We want to regulate everything.
And that used to be me.
Yeah. The other thing is we're looking for so we change the diet, detox, eat warm foods, eat cooked foods, avoid salads, raw foods, keep the feet warm, do things that help de-stress and decompress the body. But the other thing I wanted to bring up was also, and then we also have to address trauma.
1000%.
If we don't address trauma or emotional injury, and on top of that, we also have to address, so if there's any kind of sexual abuse, childhood sexual abuse, if there's been any kind of sexual abuse, okay, then this nervous system is trapped in that state, and we have to be able to extract this emotion or these emotional injuries out of the womb, out of the system.
Yeah.
And when we do that, then everything starts to function normally. But these energies are stuck and lodged in the body. So if we don't remove these things, we're going to continue to see failures, miscarriages. We're going to continue to see these very disappointing, heartbreaking upsets that occur when you're trying to conceive with your loved one.
And if you do conceive and you haven't processed your own trauma before you conceive, now you're passing that on to your child, for one.
Correct.
And two, your risk of postpartum depression goes up significantly.
Yes. Your risk of postpartum depression goes up significantly. The other thing we have to look at too as well is how you were raised, what your belief systems were. Because some people, some religious systems, right, they're like, right, for girls, it's like if you've been told like sex is bad, sex is bad, sex is bad since you're small, right? And then you finally get married and you're still a virgin and you're just the love of your life. And now you're supposed to be intimate with that person. And in the back of your mind for years and years and decades, you've been told that sex is bad. Now, these programs that come up to the surface and now you're trying to be intimate with your partner, you love him and he loves you and everything is safe, yet this programming is showing up. And then now you can't enjoy sex, or you don't enjoy sex, or sex hurts, or there's no libido. And then now you have difficulty conceiving.
Yeah.
And so these issues or belief systems and how you're raised, programs and belief systems that you were brought up to believe in, these things are affecting your fertility as well. Yeah. This is a psychological, spiritual, emotional component that a lot of fertility people don't address as well. So we want to talk about these things as well. We got to go back, process these things, unlearn the things that you've learned in order for you to embrace this healthier body so you can enjoy sex, because this is the person that you're loved one with, and you're not just making a baby, and you're not a baby making machine. You're being intimate. You're spending time, and you're exploring yourself, exploring your partner, your loved one, and coming together for a divine union in order to conceive. Yeah.
Conceiving in love.
Correct.
Conceiving in love, because that also impacts your child.
Yep.
How they were conceived impacts your child. So good.
That's a lot of stuff.
I know. Maybe we should stop here and we'll have to come back and do more episodes.
Yeah. Is everybody okay? Because it's kind of just like, I just went off. And so, anyways.
Such good information, though.
But these are some of the topics that we're bringing up. You've probably heard of it before, but some of these other topics, you've probably never heard of it before. So these things have to be addressed, and I think that these conversations, even though they're more difficult, they have to be brought up, because it's not just when we look at medicine or for treating infertility, we're just looking at the lab work and the hormones and this and the mechanical parts, and no,
it's so much deeper.
There's so much more to it. You are a human being with feelings. And there's functions in the body that can't be measured in lab work, can't be measured in blood work. How you feel for your partner, the belief systems that you were brought up with, whether if you had sexual trauma, childhood sexual trauma, all of these things that cause you to believe a certain thing. Men are dangerous, like in the world that we live in today. Men are dangerous. Men are this, men are that. Like this belief system that you have against men, these things got to be programmed out of you in order for you to be open, to be receptive, in order for you to conceive. These belief systems, these psycho-emotional, spiritual components have to be addred. You have to do some self-reflection and some work and journal these things down.
And trauma that is unprocessed in the body, it's as if your body is living back when you were 7 years old today. And so like you could be in the most safe relationship ever. You could love your partner. You could, right? You could want to have sex. But if there's 7-year-old you inside that has still yet to be heard, be validated, processed emotions, your body is in like a state of fight or flight. You're never going to be able to relax fully enough to enjoy yourself, to feel pleasure.
Yeah.
And to conceive.
Yeah. And
orgasm increases your chances of conception.
Yeah.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a safety process for the female. And I'll go into this other topic. And if you're a health practitioner, if you're listening to this, if you're a health practitioner, you're a therapist, or another health practitioner, right? These are the patterns that I've noticed, and feel free to comment and chime in as well. These are the patterns that I notice when female patients are coming in for fertility treatments for acupuncture with me. Everything's healthy, everything's good, right? The moment they get married, and they are with the person that they love, the guy that they're with creates a safe space for her to feel safe and completely vulnerable. It opens up the heart, and now she's just like opening up the heart, and all of a sudden the heart walls are dropping down. And then boom, if there is childhood sexual trauma or sexual trauma, all of these things suddenly start flooding to the surface.
Yep.
And so you were completely healthy, no fertility, no cycles were normal, somewhat normal, everything like that, right? And the moment you get married, and the moment you decide we're gonna get pregnant, and then boom, all of a sudden cycle starts to change, hormones starts to fluctuate all over the place. You can't sleep, there's trauma, digestive issues, all of these things start to flare up. It's because there's a part of you that is wounded that is coming forward to heal. So don't be discouraged.
Yeah.
A part of you that has to do with that maybe experienced childhood sexual trauma or sexual assault, sexual trauma, these things come to the surface in order to be extracted from the body in order for this information to be not passed down into your new unborn child.
Yes.
So these things are stuck in the nervous system. So I encourage you, this is why we talk about emotional injury. We have to pull these things and extract these things out of the body. We detox. We do the right nutrition. We calm the nervous system. We do acupuncture to help regulate the nervous system and cycle to get to sleep. And we have to look and do some inner child work and also look at to see why if you don't look at these things, they're going to show up in other ways.
Yes.
They're going to show up in other ways. Cysts, PCOS, POTS, you name it.
Autoimmune, all of the autoimmune.
All of these trauma issues that are unresolved, they will manifest in the body causing inflammation and chaos.
Yes.
So we have to address the psycho-spiritual emotional component of your healing. It's not just a wham bam, thank you ma'am, here's eggs and the sperm and egg fusion, there we go, right? Mm-hmm. No, it's much more complex than that.
Yeah.
There's a spiritual component that has to be addressed.
Yeah.
We have to heal the wounded aspects of the self for the body to be able to, for the female body to feel safe, and in order the female body to be receptive. Otherwise, if your heart is on guard and you're constantly on guard and your walls are
in your masculine,
and you're in your masculine, you're not receiving, you're not in a place to receive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a lot. I hope y'all are okay, but I had to get it out.
No, this is so good. This is where I wanted the conversation to go. And I think just we'll have to come back and talk more about some of these things to go deeper. But I just want to do like a quick plug for some of the things that have helped us get to where we are, because like this is a lot of information, and it's taken us time, one, to even gather all this information, to understand it, but to heal ourselves. And I mean, I'll just be very upfront. Like, I was not in a good place a lot of my life. I had physical symptoms galore, PCOS, irregular cycles. Like I said, no libido, never having the ability to even experience pleasure, so many things. And I was able to turn that all around through the power of acupuncture, through the power of Qigong, through the power of detoxification and everything that we put in our course, which we'll link you to, and through the power of, I teach a breathwork method called the quantum heart method, which helped me completely heal my inner child. All different versions of little Ahna that needed healing. And there were many versions. And without that breathwork program, and to rewire the limiting beliefs that I had about myself, about all the illusions that I believed about myself growing up, it completely transformed me. And then not only that, if you go to my Instagram, you'll also see my experience with something called the stellate ganglion block, and we're going to be coming on and talking more about that. Because it's a process we both received, just in slightly different ways and at much different times. But I truly believe this is going to be the new fertility solution to help people heal their nervous system. And so we'll have to come on and talk more about all of those solutions. But if you're interested to learn more, you can visit my website to see how I support women through the Quantum Heart Method. And I'm creating an integration program as we speak for the stellate ganglion block, because it's not a quick fix. It requires integration to heal the inner child after you receive that procedure. But my website is regenerativebirth.com. My Instagram is Ahna_regenerative birth. And then you can find more information about Peng's Qigong at bozeman-acupuncture.com. We'll put all of these links in the show notes. But the other piece that we really want to just really help get out to people is we created a course that is literally designed to teach you how to find these toxins, where to look for them, how to avoid them, what products they're in, what products they're not in, how to do coffee enemas, how to flush your liver, how to do parasite cleansing, right? All of these things, how to grocery shop, right? How to buy meat that isn't loaded with antibiotics, how all of the things. And it's our course is artofcleanlivingcourse.com, and we'll put that in the show notes as well. But yeah, we want to be here to serve as mentors for you. We include, when you buy our course, you get access to our private community, and 2 calls with us a month to ask whatever you need to ask along your journey, because it's something that would have been really helpful for us on our own. And we know we're here to lead in that space and really help couples who are maybe struggling on their fertility journey, who know they want to get pregnant in the future, or who just want to be in peak health. Mm-hmm. Just want to be in peak health. Yeah. And have good sexual function and be able to have an orgasm as a woman. I mean, there's so many things.
I'll add one last thing, and I think we probably better cut it.
Yeah.
Because we're just going to move along.
We can't stop.
When the body is healthy enough to conceive and produce a baby, you have to be healthy enough. So we're looking at all the things. We're just looking at the outcome and not looking at all the things that are required for you to be healthy enough and strong enough to conceive, or for men to produce quality sperm to conceive. So your health is going to be a big determining factors of building your constitution for both of you, weeding out the toxins, all these other things that we're talking about. And so your fertility health is your overall overall vitality and health. So we want to keep these things moving in that direction.
Yeah.
And for women, we want women's fertile and to continue to keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it determines how quickly women reach menopause is how short. The quicker you reach menopausal phase and start having hot flashes, other things, it lets you know how much life is left.
Yeah.
So we want to extend that as long as we can, have healthy cycles for as long as we can, and try to postpone and diminish and decrease perimenopausal symptoms to this menopausal symptoms in order to stave off, to have longer life for longevity. Yeah. So, anyways, that's that, and then thank you for listening.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. We'll be on with more. And if you're curious about certain topics, please don't hesitate to reach out and let us know what you want to learn more about. We're happy to share.
Yep.
So, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.